Hey guys, it's Josie with Queen My Pawn, and today I will be discussing a question that I got from a Lee Chess user. So if you want to send me your questions, definitely feel free to do so at my handle, Mr. Calderon. That's MrCalderon, Mr. Calderon. So right now the question that I got was basically on my thread that I finally hit the 2300 barrier and I destroyed it. I just overcame it. Took me a long time to do this because I was at 2200 for a long while, but I finally hit 2300, as you can see in my rating. And I almost quit right here last Thursday, which was 3 days ago. Today's the 7th. I almost quit, and if you saw my last video about from 2200 to 2300, I will discuss just exactly what change I made, and it was only one simple change, and that brought up my rating. 86 points. So definitely check that out. Now, a question I got from Tom Boggles is, congratulations, I've just broken the 2000 barrier. Do you have any tips moving from 2K to 2.3K? I'm using the woodpecker method and Someone's books. Okay, so first of all, Silman's only good for up to 1600 at best, because a lot of stuff that he says, it's good for beginners. I've read Soman's books, I've read The Amateur's Mind, I've read Soman's Endgame course, I've read How to Reassess Your Chess, which is the best one. How to Reassess Your Chess version 3 is the only book I can recommend from Soman that definitely helps, because he talks about the 7 imbalances, which are space, initiative, development, control of open files, key squares, all that good stuff. What side of the board you want to play. It's definitely recommendable to read How to Reassess Your Chess, 3rd version, but you can't really use any other stuff like complete endgame course. I don't recommend it. I definitely recommend something like Basic Chess Endings by Ruben Fine. Definitely. So do I have any tips? Definitely I do have tips, and if you see my video from 2200 to 2300, you can still use it from 2000 to 2100, or even 1800 to 1900, because here's the thing. A lot of the questions were like, oh my gosh, I think they're I think they're out calculating me. No, that's not true. The truth is that they're getting better positions because they're controlling the center more, and because they're controlling the center more, they have less stuff to calculate. You have to calculate more if you have a worse position, if you have to defend more, which is not what you want, okay, because that takes up time. So definitely make sure you control the center, okay, and you'll be able to save a lot of time, which leads to higher rating points. Another tip that I have is that, well, before I go on, because I think that's the only tip I have, I am doing this thing where you can send me a game, if you're watching this, to my inbox, and for free I'll actually make a video about that game and offer some tips. I'm also doing this deal that for $10 you can send me 3 games, and I can see the pattern that you're doing in every game, and I'll make a 10-minute video about it and go over all 3 games in those 10 minutes and post it on YouTube. And if you want to remain anonymous, I can always edit that out as well, the names. Just let me know. So just send that to my inbox, and it's a good deal to take advantage of. So Tom Bogle sent me his rapid game. By the way, the game you send me must be rapid game. It cannot be blitz or bullet, okay, because there's not enough time to think in blitz, and in bullet it's just a crash course of what you know. So make sure that it has to be a rapid game or slower. So let's go ahead and look at Tom Bogle's game. So I'm gonna pull that up right now, okay, and let's let Marcy take over now. So here we are. So the game proceeded like this: c4, which is good. Look, Tom Bogles is Tom's controlling the d5 square already, so that's good. Any opening move you make that controls the center is good. Personally, I prefer either e4 if you're playing shorter time controls, or d4 if you're playing longer time controls. Okay, so he plays c4, f5. Both sides are controlling the center somewhat, but f5 is a little bit riskier. g3 so that you can fianchetto the bishop and influence d5 more, and even the longer diagonal. Knight f6, which is good. You have a defender there. This is the key defender for positions. Bishop g2, c6, trying to block off the bishop's influence. Knight c3, d6. Now look, ignore what the engine says because the engine doesn't understand strategy as well as it should. I did not click to analyze the engine, it was just like this. So d3, this is okay. You're controlling the key light squares. e5. So far, black has some space in the center. He has more space in the center, but white is up in development. e4. Okay, e4 is not bad, but maybe you could bring out your knight and then castle. Okay, that's the simplest way to play. If he plays e4, you don't take this pawn, because then you bring out his f-pawn into the game and an open file for him to attack. Maybe you can just move here. Also, this bishop is blocked by his pawn, so this move would be definitely a mistake, because now the bishop can actually come in somewhere, at least. So maybe you move the knight here, then the pawn goes here, you can move here, and you have pieces to attack on the queen side. You have a bishop that can influence the long diagonal. This pawn is pinned. In other words, if it doesn't want this bishop to come out, you can put pressure on e4 in hypermodern style. So let's go back to the actual game. You played e4. Okay, so this I cannot recommend at all. Normally the move here is d takes e4 so that you can aim towards controlling d5, and by doing that you're able to prevent black's breakthrough in the center, therefore controlling the center. You can play knight f3 easily, and you can castle. Okay, so when you do this, he doesn't have to take. In fact, this is a mistake by black because he removes a key defender of the king side, and this knight this is like the best defender. So he made a mistake doing this. Normally, you could play d5 here. You can't do this in this position because of simply knight takes f6, and if queen takes, you win the pawn in the middle. But if g takes f6, then you just check him, and he can't castle. He's blocked, and his bishop, one of his bishops, is gonna get blocked in the open position, and you can attack. Normally, though, that does work, but he's gonna prepare d5 by playing bishop e6. See how focused I am in the center, because that's where all of the action can come from. If you control the center, you can do whatever you want. But if you let the other guy control the center, you're going to calculate more and you're going to waste a lot of time. So he took, which is a mistake. And that's another mistake. Again, this is called for. So he can really prepare this move d5, and that's going to be extremely annoying. But that's a mistake as well because he has the diagonal, you know, to save time. You don't need to weaken your king side by doing that. Like, I would never play that in a million years. g6. Bishop b3. Okay, so you're developing a piece. That's good. Don't worry about that. The point is that it's a mistake because he can play d5 now. Okay. So, you need to do something about that. And the point is that you should have recaptured with that pawn, but it's too late for that now. So queen d2, bishop e6. There's no need to prepare d5. It should have been played. This is a mistake because you are moving a piece twice in the opening when you should be developing your knight. Maybe knight to e2, so that the knight can go. Sorry, so that the knight can go to c3. Okay, and therefore control d5. As you can see, I cannot stress the emphasis of the center enough. But be careful. When the knight's on c3, you have to make sure you don't get forked by d5, d4 again. Because the pawn wins to d5, bad stuff starts to happen. So, bishop h6. He castles. Okay. You take the bishop. Okay, sure. King takes. h4. Now look, you need to get this knight in the game, man. Okay. And then castle. So, king safety and development. This is not a developing move at all. In fact, it's not even influencing the center at all. Okay. Now, I must say that that's as much as I can give in this video. So, what I want to make sure that you understand is you control the center in the opening, and your game's going to be a lot easier. I understand you won this game, but that's because you flagged. And I saw that in the end, you dropped some pawns. In the ending, you cannot drop pawns. You had like a 4-pawn advantage. You got to keep those pawns. You can't let him capture all those pawns in the ending, because at that point, you're not trying to checkmate him. You're trying to get those pawns to the end. Okay, checks are least important at that point in the ending, unless there's a tactic. So make sure you control the center. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my content for more videos like this. And I'll see you on the next one.